All right, looking at A13 here, this is our practice worksheet. We're solving quadratics by graphing. The first 6 problems are already graphed for you, but I want you to look at the wording real quick. The roots. Roots is another word for solutions. The roots or the zeros. So the roots of a quadratic equation can be found by using the graph below. The roots are the solutions. We're really looking again for those x-intercepts. All of this boils down to, when you're asked to solve a quadratic, is that you find x when y is 0. So your solutions are right here. X is at -1 and 1, 2, 3, 4. -1 and 4. Now, if you look at the next one in the directions, a student correctly graphed the parabola shown below to solve a given quadratic. And if you're solving quadratic, what am I looking for? The x-intercepts. So these are all worded a little bit differently. I know you're probably looking at that one, but please look at the next one. They're giving you the equation, and then they repeat it down here. So the equation's y equals x squared plus 3x minus 18. It's graphed on the axis, so you don't have to graph it. Based on this graph, what are the roots? Notice that they took that same equation and they replaced the y with the 0. The roots are basically asking you for the x-intercepts. Same thing on here. You don't have to graph it, but they are giving you the equation. It's pre-graphed. So seeing the words like roots or zeros, they're all asking you to find x when y is 0. All right, if you flip it over, same thing. They're giving you the standard form for a quadratic. They are telling you it's graphed. What are the solutions? What are the roots? So this one didn't give you the actual graph, but they're showing you it's set it equal to 0. This f of x, we haven't talked about it much in here. I don't think we really have. The graph of f of x is the same as y equals. So when they're telling you find the roots of the equation when f of x equals 0, they're basically telling you to find the roots of the equation when y equals 0. Isn't that what we're trying to do? Find x when y is 0. All this boils down to is you guys finding the x-intercepts. And I know you can do that, but I wanted to point out the wording. Does that make sense? The new idea of roots, why is this f of x here? It's the same as saying y equals 0. Okay, now you have some wording on these. It's the same idea. Graph this equation right here on the accompanying set of axes, using the graph to determine the roots. Do you see that this is the same equation, x squared minus 2x minus 3, but they set the y equal to 0. So if you're asked to find the roots, you are looking for the x-intercepts. Same wording on the number 8, but I want to remind you, when you go to graph both of these, it's already in standard form. Do you see it? But when I go to graph it, I need to put in my axis of symmetry, that vertex x value. So write down your formula, x equals -b over 2a. I'm going to put that value in for x, okay? Same thing over here. X equals -b over 2a. So you're using your formula that they gave you, and you're using that b and that a. Watch your negative sign.